that the Fandom Menace isn't just a bunch of toxic males. It's toxic femininity brought to you by Midnight's Edge with Alora OG Star Wars girl, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, Mary Mayhem.
Greetings, good evening, good morning, good night, whatever it is where you're at. I am Tom Connors. Welcome to Toxic Femininity. And I forgot to mute in the intro, so that was probably really echoey for everybody, and I apologize. But hey, we're going to try and get better from here. And with us tonight, we have a special guest. Geeky Candy's on vacation, so we have My Nerdy Home with us. Say hello, Steph.
Hi.
And with us always is OG Star Wars girl, Alora.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Alora.
And of course, last but definitely not least, the hostess with the mostest, the mistress of mayhem, Mary B herself.
Hey, guys. I am so ready for tonight. Good. We got some toxic conversation for y'all this evening. Some toxic conversation, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely want to plug Steph. She came in clutch for us here, guys. Came in and pulled a rabbit out of the hat for us because, of course, Candace is on vacation, as Tom said, having a great time up in Las Vegas. So she's hidden. And a lady to boot, y'all. So, hell yeah. So, Tom, are we ready to dive straight into these topics?
I think so. I don't have the news thing because, well, evidently somebody forgot to pay the bills. So,
no worries.
So we doing the one you're sharing first, right, Mary?
Yes, guys. Irmagerd. So
Irmagerd, come on.
that Obi-Wan debacle, folks. That Obi-Wan debacle. So, as you guys may know, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, the beginning of production has been delayed. And of course, we, the Fandom Menace, broke that news for you first, guys. There were rumblings about it. Rumblings all over different social media sites. Of course, some stuff on Reddit, some stuff on Twitter. And the Phantom Menace did its due diligence. Now, I'm no Geeky Candy, and I do not have this as nailed down as she does. But we can go over a few things for you with this here tonight, guys. So this particular article, it comes to us from inverse.com. And I'm not going to lie, it nails this on the head. So we're not going to read this whole thing because it is an absolute... It's just so huge, but we're gonna break this down for you as best as we can here. So it's been a bumpy ride for Star Wars fans over the last few weeks, and much of it suggests Disney's committee-driven algorithm approach to the franchise isn't working. So what's the solution? The widely divergent reactions to I don't know what the hell that even says. Hold on a second. I'm on a weird, can't even see you here with this on. There we go. I have to go back onto bright screen. So what's the solution? The widely divergent reactions to The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian reveal a lot about what Disney's doing right with Star Wars and where it's gone catastrophically wrong. I would say things have gone catastrophically wrong, wouldn't you, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. So it's been definitely a bumpy ride, and a lot of us have a lot of stress in terms of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I myself, that is my favorite Star Wars character, beyond shadow of a doubt. Like bar none, is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I felt like for what I consider, for my headcanon, episodes 1 through 6, that's it. As far as the movies go, I'm happy to include Rogue One in that, sure. But the rest of the movies, I'm just kind of like, you guys can suck an egg. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is really the most consistent character along those movies for me. So the latest drama stems from news that production on the Kenobi Disney Plus show has been halted as Lucasfilm execs were dissatisfied with the scripts. This is despite having previously said the writing was complete back at the company's D23 event last August. That's right, guys. You heard that correctly. Last August at the D23 convention, Kathleen Kennedy stood up there on stage with Ewan McGregor, and she said, the scripts are done. We are going to go into production at the beginning of the year. And lo and behold, we get to the beginning of the year, and they're like, turns out these epic scripts that we really like just need to be a little more epic, apparently, because epic isn't epic enough.
What
So
is epic with Kennedy, anyways? What the hell is that? Inserting political female agenda in there? Is that what
That
she
is
considers
exactly
epic?
what it is. That is exactly what it is. Because I am of the opinion that, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, strolled on stage with Ewan McGregor and was like, we have all the scripts ready. They're ready to go. But she hadn't read them yet. Yeah, they were probably ready to go. She hadn't read them yet. And once she got her grimy little KK hands on them, she was like, we need more femininity in there. We need a great woman character. And she's like, we're not going to produce and we're not going to start production until it's fixed.
So I think, and look, I tend to agree that Kathleen Kennedy has no business being the one trying to direct this stuff creatively speaking, because she doesn't love this stuff, right? This isn't about a love for Star Wars for her. This woman has no business trying to direct things creatively speaking. I don't think she would know what a well-written script was if it slapped it upside the head while she was holding a cup of hot coffee, right? This woman has no freaking clue what she's doing in terms of creativity. Nevertheless, she halted everything and decided the scripts just weren't quite good enough. So let's take a scroll down here. So it's not totally clear what changed about the Kenobi project since August, though we have learned it was not as far along as Kennedy made it seem, says writer Hussein Amini, has been let go from the project and that only 2 of the planned 6 episodes had been written. So she lied.
What the heck?
She lied. She freaking lied, guys.
Oh, dude, this
is Solo
this
2.0.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
2.0. It's like everything that she's involved with in any type of production, there's something that's either someone gets fired, everything gets written or reshoots.
Well, so they've taken this. We'll get a little further into the article before we get into what I was about to say. So, so the news comes shortly after The Rise of Skywalker was met with mixed reception at the box office. yeah, everybody hated it. The final film in the Skywalker saga aimed to please everyone, fans who hated Last Jedi and those who loved it. Prequel stands. That word doesn't go there. Reylo shippers, lightsaber fetishists, filthy casuals, and countless more niches within the fandom. It had to provide a satisfying ending for dozens of characters across a 9-film storyline spanning 4 decades. And in trying to please everyone, Disney made the worst reviewed Star Wars movie yet. Just a smidge below The Phantom Menace. That's right, guys. It was absolutely the worst received one. So the movie's also tracking to be the lowest grossing of the sequels, which is mind-boggling to me. So then it goes into, by comparison, The Mandalorian exceeded expectations. It did. They didn't even know to make Baby Yoda dolls, you morons.
They didn't cash in on that shit. They should have. They should have had it all aligned.
You'd think Disney, those money grubbers, would have had a little bit of a heads up on the Baby Yoda thing, but whatever, that's cool.
They were too busy, doing other things with like Igloo and
they were changing the Rise of Skywalker script 14 times.
They were too busy with that,
So
Jesus.
Proving that deep cuts approach to lore can still attract a broad audience. So I'm willing to wager many of the folks sharing Baby Yoda gifts on Twitter at the end of 2019 had no idea what a Mandalorian was before then. I tend to agree. I tend to agree with that take.
Some people still don't. They're just like, oh my God, he's so cute.
It's so adorable, guys.
He's so cute.
And everybody knows I do take some issues personally with The Mandalorian, just because I feel like Baby Yoda may cause a problem. But overall, I of course agree that he's adorable and he's a good little plot device. Certainly, he gets things moving when maybe The Mandalorian doesn't always do the best job at that. So sure, there's an element of fan service to Baby Yoda, and the obvious visual similarity between Mando and Boba Fett might reel in some casual fans, but those things alone wouldn't be enough to keep viewers coming back. Favreau and Filoni's bottomless appetite for arcane Star Wars knowledge shines through in The Mandalorian's aesthetic and writing, which deploys familiar concepts in new ways while avoiding excessive reliance on the same old faces and places, which I tend to agree with for the most part. Personally,
I find that interesting because they say, the same old places and faces, but they still need a world build. I get it, but they still need to also keep the old worlds together, like Tatooine and stuff. And we seen Tatooine, yes, and we seen was it Moss Eisley, which was a great thing to see.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I get that, but you still need to incorporate what was established along with building the new. So I think that's where they get stuck. And I think that's where they get stuck with the writing, because they're like, oh, let's put in nostalgia, but they're like, well, let's not bring the worlds back because then we're going to copy. But then, JJ did A New Hope already, again, a rehash of A New Hope, so I think they just don't know which direction to go.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and we'll try to stay focused here in terms of Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. So let's scroll down here, because like I said, this is a really, really long article here. It goes into a bit of the lack of vision and how they keep changing their minds midstream, and how the Duel of Fates is a fascinating case in point, like with the Colin Trevorrow situation, and how a lot of this stuff just wound up being a complete garbage fire, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to scroll down a little bit. So in the context of Disney's ongoing Star Wars troubles, we got a $2 super chat from Matt G. Thanks, Matt G. Appreciate the love, man. He says, next Star Wars movie stars KK as my life. Hell no. Someone take me out back and shoot me now. In the context of Disney's ongoing Star Wars troubles, the latest Kenobi kerfuffle shouldn't come as a surprise. Abrupt course correction from Lucasfilm seems to be the new standard operating procedure. Now, that doesn't mean Amini's rejected scripts for the show were bad, which I tend to agree with. I mean, I think that these probably just wound up being too similar to The Mandalorian in terms of, Obi-Wan Kenobi keeping an eye on a young kid or whatever, essentially, and trying to fulfill that role is probably what that wound up being. Of course, that's speculation to some extent. So it doesn't mean that the scripts were bad, but they probably weren't. But perhaps because The Mandalorian did better than expected and Rise of Skywalker did worse, Kennedy and Iger have elected to completely rethink the galaxy far, far away for the 5th time in as many years.
Oh my god.
They're gonna rethink it. And Obi-Wan, they're gonna do it when Luke is like a young boy. That's the speculation on that.
Yeah, that was the
have to
speculation.
keep everything as is, like we see in A New Hope, in a sense, because Obi-Wan is in exile, protecting Luke and also training to become a Force ghost and keeping everything in track for the Jedi Order, all this stuff. So are they going to get us seeing him go off planet a lot it doesn't make sense. Yeah, he did go off planet in Legends a couple of times. However, he stayed on planet and hid well.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been I really do feel like that was a good route to take, was sort of, now but then again, I see that I really think there are other directions they could have taken with him as well. Him sort of sitting, yes, Peanut Gallery.
I was gonna say, yeah, because Luke's like talking about him in Star Wars like he's that old pervy dude that your uncle tells you to stay away from because he's gonna
yeah. I feel like they could have done a lot with the notion that he was struggling with basically the annihilation of his entire Jedi Order.
That would be a good route.
Like sort of the delve into what happens when your entire way of life gets utterly destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What happens to a human being when you go through something like that? And maybe watching over Luke Skywalker is fine, but I want an Obi-Wan Kenobi story, right?
Exactly. And the Kenobi novel from Legends does that well. Does it really well, because he has his whole, in the novel, it's a whole adventure being involved with those from Anchorhead, and there's a lot of drama that happens, and he's trying to stay exiled and he's trying to not be a Jedi, but then he can't stop not being a Jedi, and we see him maybe it's a sort of PSTD or whatever, but we see him suffer with what had happened between him and Anakin, and him trying to talk to Qui-Gon and holding Anakin's lightsaber. I mean, it's a very great story.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just seeing that being played out? That would just be amazing. They have the material to do it. They're not going to.
Oh yeah, definitely have the material, but and it's not that I think it's altogether possible that they will wind up potentially picking up pieces of that, but they'll wind up shifting it and manipulating it and of course making it different, like a distorted version of what it is that people are familiar with, right? So they can essentially claim these things as their own intellectual property when they never really put any real thought into it anyway, right? So but I mean, we won't know until we get it. They've also taken this concept. We were supposed to get 6 episodes for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. They're now talking about giving us 4 episodes. Personally, not on board with that. Real quick, we got a $2 super chat from Dark Gift Comics Presents. He says, what's up, peeps? How are you fine ladies tonight? Thanks,
Thank
Anthony.
you.
We appreciate you so much. Good Anthony. We
There
love
he goes. Peanut Gallery just popping in and out.
in and out. Giggity.
In and out. That's what she said.
Giggity goo. I'm not Rob.
And we're canceled. No.
So let me go ahead and finish this article up real quick. So the evidence is mounting that we need an unabashed nerd at the helm, one who isn't afraid to keep Star Wars weird. Maybe that person is Jon Favreau. Maybe it's Kevin Feige. One thing seems clear. It's definitely not Bob Iger. I personally would insert Kathleen Kennedy right there.
Yeah, I totally Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not that I think Bob Iger is a creative, but I think we've seen a lot of issues go down here, and I'm going to go ahead and close that out. We've seen a lot of issues go down here. This pattern of behavior falls on Kathleen Kennedy, right? Mm-hmm. This falls on her. Time after time after time, we have seen situations where she's let it get too far before she stepped in and decided to give any measure of oversight. Real quick, we got a $5 super chat from Ryan Kennel. He says, if only they had an incredible novel that gave us that.
I
OG
wonder.
OG might be able to chime in on that.
That's the Kenobi book that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you think. But, they don't have any source materials, according to Kathleen Kennedy, the very woman that we're just talking about that knows no shit other than serving coffee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Totally no source material. Let's strike out and go our own way, right? Digtow, Disney going their own way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go our own way. Screw the source material. Doesn't exist, but then let's ransack it for our own purpose.
Let's poach what we need.
Right.
And then do it badly.
Oh, yeah. Turn it on its head. Exactly.
So we've got a couple things I do want to show you guys real quick. Let me pull up the screen share here. Hold on, I got something.
Wow.
So we had a little thing. We had a little thing go down. As you guys may or may not have noticed, we essentially, the Fandom Menace reported on this Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff well ahead of a lot of the people who actually reported on it. And we got a lot of flack. We got a lot of flack online for this. So one of the people who was ahead of the curve on this was Candace. And she pulled up a couple of Screen Rant articles that essentially slashed or slammed back against the Fandom Menace, because we know that's who you're talking about, right? For reporting on this stuff before the mainstream media did it. And so she pulled up a tweet, and I felt like this was absolutely hilarious. So this is her tweet. So got to hear Screen Rant. January 17th, that no reputable outlet covered the cancellation rumor was a clue that it was false. So on the 17th of January, they put this garbage up there. The Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show buzz stems from another problem rumor, right? That's what this all stems from. It's just some problem rumor. And then on the 23rd, they report the Obi-Wan show was delayed.
Because they never had problems before. That's why it's just a problem rumor, because they did everything excellent in Star Wars, and it was just a rumor until now.
Yeah. Totally a rumor. Totally just a rumor, guys. And you should not be listening to disreputable sources such as the Fandom Menace to get your news. 1 week later. Yeah, guys.
It's totally delayed. We're the first to report it. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here with that. So we had to pull that up, and I did think that was absolutely hilarious. This is why you follow YouTubers who give a damn, and I could not agree with that more. Look, typically, if you're talking about, certainly at least here within the Fandom Menace, for the most part, we do our due diligence. We certainly do our research. And if we're reporting on something that is a rumor, you can be damn sure that we will preface it as a rumor. We will let you know ahead of time that there's some measure of guesswork here, or to take it with a grain of salt, right? We'll let you know that ahead of time because we do our due diligence in these situations. But we're disreputable sources. Never mind that for almost the past year, when we've been reporting on things like the Reddit leaks for the Rise of Skywalker, all of the various leaks that we've been seeing, we were on point. 100, like everything we reported on the Rise of Skywalker, turns out we were right.
Like 110% because we called a lot of the Colin Trevorrow shit too.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Case in point, paying such close attention, and I will give props to Ryan Kinnell for this. I did a video over on Geeks and Gamers like a week or two ago when they were talking about the fan art. Oh, is this it? Or not the fan art, but the concept art for what could have been for Colin Trevorrow. Nope, it wasn't Colin Trevorrow's. He came out a few days after we reported on it. Wasn't Colin Trevorrow's work. It was J.J. Abrams. It was a previous version of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That was that concept art. Because we're paying attention, guys. We're actually paying attention to this stuff. But the article that I was reading got it wrong. But they're the reputable news sources. $14.99 super chat from Mexican Iron Man. He says, "Hail to the prettiest, hottest, smartest sci-fi experts in our fandom. Hail.
Hail to you, darling."
Just give you a little
A little bit of love.
hand gesture from Trace XL for $10. He says, "The Kenobi novel is a fine choice for a series. Ewan is more than capable of fulfilling the role of Obi-Wan, dealing with life after the Jedi Order. Not going that route is a horrible choice." I could not agree more, but they don't know what they're doing over at Lucasfilm, and they can't even seem to sort out a script, even though back in August they said they had one squared away, and now we're in production hell with this stuff. And look, when this situation arises, when this kind of stuff goes down, there are many circumstances that you can point at that you just never get the series. It just doesn't happen because it goes into production hell. When something gets delayed like this indefinitely, people go home. People go look for other work.
That is very true.
Writers, you got to sort your shit out. It may never hit the screen. Do I think that'll happen with Obi-Wan Kenobi? No, I don't. I think we will still wind up getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. But I think odds are it's going to be heavily meddled with.
I am very scared. I'm kind of cringing thinking about, knowing this, and they're going to just go with a few episodes now, knowing they're rewriting and knowing that there's a little bit of turmoil in the background. And, Ewan, I know he's under contract, so he's not going to say otherwise. He's going to talk it up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just cringing, and like I said, I've read the Kenobi novel. And so I'm just cringing on the possibilities is what's going to happen. Did they really, use some of the novel and then decide not to use it? I mean, there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of what ifs, and it's just very cringy. And yeah, it's going to turn off the fans.
And they don't need any more controversy around the Star Wars brand. They really don't. This could have been settled behind the scenes, but no, it got so big that, Candace reported on it and then Screen Rant reported on it. And they really don't need any more controversy surrounding Star Wars because, again, that's just going to draw more negativity. It's just going to, get fans to just walk away from it all over again. It's not going to draw in more people, which is what they're trying to do. Now, as far as like moving from, you said, 6 to 4 episodes?
6 to 4.
Do you know how long they're going to be? Was that stated?
I mean, your best average guesstimate is going to be around 30 minutes per episode.
Right. So, I know that on Netflix, that Dracula miniseries was really good. But they were like mini movies. They were like 1.5-hour episodes each. If they go that route where it's like maybe an hour-long show, then I wouldn't have a problem with them scaling the episodes down from 6 to 4. If they do it correctly, which they're probably not going to do.
They're probably not going to do that. And if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to scale it back to the half-hour episodes and we're only going to get 4 of them, why the hell didn't you just make a movie?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why didn't you just make a movie? Well, it's the same thing. It's the same damn thing, except instead of, people winding up paying, $10 for a ticket to go to the theaters, or, $15, $20, depending on your area and whether or not you get snacks and all that jazz per person. Instead, they're going to wind up giving you, $12 for a month of Disney Plus, and we got to wait a month.
Yeah.
To drag it out between episodes. What the
How many of you guys did you guys keep Disney Plus did you guys cancel it until next year for Mandalorian? I don't have my Disney Plus right now. I canceled it.
So
no, my dummies paid for a year.
I'm not actually paying for my own Disney Plus. I'm mooching off my mama. So,
There you go.
mooching off my mama, y'all. So I mean, it's not something I guess if my mom decides to stop paying for it, then I'll see where I'm at. But really, my only thing is trying to get through the Clone Wars, and that's it. I don't give a shit about Cassian Andor. I didn't pay. Did anybody ask for Cassian?
No. You already know how Cassian Andor's story ends. So
You did, son.
Yeah. There's nothing to look forward to, really. I can care less on how he gets from that point all the way to Scarif. I don't care. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't care about Cassian. Look, unless they pull another rabbit out of the hat, like they did with the Mandalorian, which I just don't feel like is very likely, mainly because you're not going to have people invested in a character that we all know is going to die and how they're going to die. His exploits, in the meantime, I don't care. I just don't care. So I really feel like this is probably going to be Solo all over again with that situation. I just don't think anybody cares. What people were excited for, the only thing that had people buzzing like the masses was the Kenobi series. That's it.
Oh yeah.
And you're mucking this up. And what blows my mind is how continuously over and over and over again, this stuff gets to a breakneck. Like, you were supposed to start production. This was production starting time. And you just now realize the scripts are shit or not written at all? What? How did you let it get this? How does this keep happening over and over and over again with you, Kathleen? Like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So maybe it's Bob Iger's problem. But at the same time, it's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. I know that's not the real definition, but it's a good saying. Can somebody please slap this woman back to reality? What the hell is wrong with you? How do you let shit get this far? It's been years, woman, and you've done this on practically every single project that has sat in front of your face. What are you doing all day? What do you do all day?
She doesn't care. She has very little care for Star Wars, for what she has.
Yeah, and you could look at her resume. She's produced countless movies beforehand, been there, but then when you come to Star Wars, she doesn't know how to maintain an IP that has a huge lore, that has a huge, like, 25 centuries of lore, and how to put it all together. She just wants to get it done for the sake of money, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know that. Look, based on her track record at Lucasfilm, I don't understand why anybody ever thought this woman was qualified to handle this. I don't understand why anyone thought she was capable of holding this kind of stuff down, because it has been incident after incident after incident at this point. And at this point, this measure of failed oversight, this kind of a pattern of behavior would have gotten anyone else. And well, let me rephrase that. Anyone who possesses a penis would have been fired.
Yeah.
Been gone. But because the vagina, this woman is a
woman.
My whammon card. Let's whip out the whammon card. You can't get rid of me because of my vagina. Anyone else would have been fired by now.
Oh yeah. And they won't do it. She wouldn't go quietly, not one little bit. And I think it's Jeremy who's always saying, like, what does she have on them? Why does she still have her job?
I will keep that speculation to myself. For this stream to remain monetized, but I have speculations.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one, Mary.
Visuals of ball gags roam through my mind, things like that. Just, very, like, what's the safe word in scenarios in my head, like stuff like that. But panda suits, giant wolf costumes, and Dave Filoni.
There we go. It's all leaking out. It's all leaking out now.
Funny trail.
We have the exclusive here.
Grain of salt, people. Grain of salt.
Okay, did we get the Trace XL super chat?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so we got that one. Then Roaming sent us $5.
Yes, the roaming for $5. It's still hard to believe that something I love so much turned into such a shit show. Filoni can turn this thing around if they let him. Look, I would say most fans agree with you. Would you ladies agree with him?
I believe he may be able to, but if we have to figure out, okay, so who's behind the scenes leading this show besides Kennedy? Who is their story group? Because look at what happened with movies.
Yeah.
What story group?
Exactly.
That's a big thing, is the story group. Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Filoni fan, and I seen him like muck up the EU and stuff, and that's a whole different story there. However, he's the one that's qualified and knows at least some of the EU and some of the lore to have some consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is Chow did way better with The Mandalorian than he did.
Well, the directing, but directing and writing are not synonymous, right?
Yeah.
And so but she was great direct. Yeah.
Yeah. So many fans just love Filoni, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, they really think that he could do a good job. And I tend to agree with them. You're absolutely right. He knows more. He cares about it more. He's been involved a whole lot more. So yeah, I tend to agree with the fact that maybe he could turn it around, but is it too late for that? You know,
there's a lot of damage going on. They would have to do a serious retconning and get rid of the DT.
I don't think it's too late. And I think that The Mandalorian is a pretty great example of the fact that it's not too late, right? And you can call me overly optimistic if you like. That's perfectly fine. I don't care. You can call me whatever you want. But I do think that the big factor to remember here is it's not like whether you like what Filoni did with the Clone Wars and the subversion of the EU and all of that jazz or not is for me, it's a moot point to set it to the side, because at the end of the day, what Filoni does have on his side is a very, very strong love for this IP. The man genuinely loves it. He has a great deal of zeal and passion for this content. And so why, look, there's no way he could do a worse job than Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, no.
Not
I
at all.
agree.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with that part. There's no way. I mean, she just, she pisses me off. Okay.
I feel you.
I don't care if the man forgets to zip his fly in the mornings. All right. I don't care if he failed to tie his shoelaces every day, all day. I don't care if the man walks face first into walls. All right. At this point, you cannot mismanage a property more than freaking Kathleen Kennedy has. Yeah. Right. He cares about this stuff. Stick Jon Favreau in charge of all the techie shit and let Dave Filoni go to the creative side. Like, do something. But there's no way that it's 5 times at this point, guys, we've wound up in this position with this woman. I'm sorry, it's just we can't keep doing this. I'm trying to refrain from saying certain things. Like, I wanted to say something really terrible, and I was like, demonetized. I can't say that. I can't say it. So,
yeah.
$5 super chat from Trace XL says, Disney screwed up. Put someone passionate about Star Wars in the chair and bankroll the hell out of them to make great content. Quality over diversity always. I could
absolutely
not agree
right.
with that more. Look, there's not a problem with diversity, guys. No one here has an issue with the diversity, right?
There was diversity before.
Yeah.
Yes, there was diversity in it before.
Mm-hmm.
But when that over, storytelling and good content,
none of
that's when you have problems.
Are pissed off when they see a woman on screen. None of us are pissed off when there's a whammon up on the screen. We're perfectly good with that. What pisses us off is when that whammon does a shit job and the writing is shit, and every single second that you're looking at it, you're just going, oh, this isn't Star Wars. That's what we take issue with. It's not that there's a woman up on screen. It's not that there's a person of color up on screen. It's that the characters that they represent are garbage, and we're sick of it. And since when was it, if they're so worried about, protecting or representing, pleasing women, right? Why did you forget that there were women in this fan base who you're screwing? Every woman who loves this IP, every woman who spent her life growing up on it and being enthralled and engaged with these stories, you're screwing because of one vagina. What about my vagina?
They don't care about your vagina or mine or Steph's or anybody else.
I don't care about ours.
All right. So now let's get to the heart and soul of Star Wars. And is George Lucas coming back?
What?
There's rumors going on about that. So let's get into
Before we
that.
start, let's preface this with, guys, this comes from We Got This Covered.
Oh.
Okay. So big old pinch of salt. All right. Because they've got a track record here. So you can take this with a grain of salt. We are discussing potential possibility. This is rumor, speculation, and you absolutely should take it as such. So with that disclaimer out of the way.
All right. So let's get this show started here. And I have it ready to go.
Tom, share.
Yes. Tom. There we go. Uh-oh.
Pause the video.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is the article here, and it is from WeGotThisCovered.com. Lucasfilm reportedly wants George Lucas to return and oversee Star Wars. Now, looking at what we are just going back and what we were talking about with this big old mess about Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Kenobi show, this kind of goes hand in hand to show that they don't know what the hell they are doing. All right. So there's a speculation going on, take it with a grain of salt. And so let's get into this article here. Remember when everyone used to loathe the Star Wars prequels? Okay. So I'm going to add to this where I'm from. And when the prequels came out, everybody loved it. However, different areas of the United States, I guess people didn't. Yeah,
when it
me
first
too.
came out, most people were pretty rose-colored glasses on.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, how the tide seemed to have finally changed in the last few years, right? Let's see what they mean about this. Whether it is the rose-tinted glasses or nostalgia or some of the collective revisionist history or simply just an evolution of our growing appreciation for George Lucas's Star Wars flicks circa 1999 to 2005, it's fair to say that the majority of fans have begun to look back pretty fondly on some of the most critically mangled or maligned entries of the entire sci-fi franchise. Now, I have something to say about that. With that, there was nothing wrong with the prequels when it came to maintaining continuity. So that was never an issue. And yeah, there was, certain poor directions that George and everybody may have took when it came to the prequels, but it never ruined continuity and it blended well into the OT. So that was never a problem. Now with the recent release, The Rise of Skywalker, which bookended the 9-part, 42-year-old Skywalker saga. Oh, I hate that term. It's not a Skywalker saga.
Nope.
Not nowadays.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's gone now. But in the past, the Skywalkers were part of Star Wars, but it was initial huge story. There was no just this is the Skywalker saga and this is the rest of the lore. It was never like that. In a dazzling yet slightly unfulfilling fashion, we are hearing that the original Star Wars writer, director, and brainchild of the Star Wars brand, George Lucas. Oh, George Lucas, you're our only hope. May well be returning to the epic space opera franchise that he had helped build. Okay, so before I go on, what do you think about that, ladies?
I think that's a potential look. And as we go on, you'll see that there's some stipulations. So for the purposes of this discussion, we'll assume that it's true, right? But there are some stipulations that they'll put in place here, and I'm not sure that full creative control with George Lucas is the best route because I really do think that there do need to be some stopgaps because look, he had those in place for the original trilogy and they weren't in place for the prequel trilogy. And the standard is very different, right? You can tell there's a difference when no one is intervening with George Lucas. But I do think ultimately having him at the wheel and having some good minds around him is certainly way better.
And I'll expand on that a little bit more after we're done with this article here on what I think how this is going to go if this ever happens, because, well, I'll just say a little bit now. It's not his Star Wars no more. So he has to, go with what they want. It's not going to be what he wants. So there's a huge difference. So let's go on. According to the sources close to we got this covered, the same ones who told us spoilers would die. Yeah, spoilers would die in The Rise of Skywalker, and the spoilers would be revealed as a traitor in the film, both of which turned out to be true. The studio wants him back, but want him to work in more of an official capacity and more on the record this time around. Interesting.
So official capacity on the record, essentially.
And on the record.
He's the guy. He's the guy, right? He's J.J. Abrams. He's the story group. He's the one. He's responsible, essentially.
Yeah. So it's likely this new role will give Lucas significant creative control over direction of the newer Star Wars films that he oversees, unlike his work on The Rise of Skywalker, which Lucas allegedly did as a favor to the director J.J. Abrams. Very interesting right there. That all being said, our sources who also told us about the Palpatine twist, in Rise months before the movie premiered, and the Ewan McGregor would return as Obi-Wan back in May, say that Lucas' new duties will likely not be a hands-on job per se. Okay, so now they're backtracked, but more of the flexible executive producer role. Okay, so sometimes they just go ahead and foresee it, fund it, and that's it sometimes. So specifically, the studio really wants Luke to work with Kevin Feige and help steer the franchise back into the right track. Of course, this wouldn't be a writer or a directorial role for Lucas, but it would be instead give him the opportunity to oversee, guide, and shepherd the uber popular sci-fi series into the future. Clearly, this is likely a move from Lucasfilm to placate fans after the recent sequel trilogies, you think? Mixed
I wonder.
Whether it's a good idea or not, well, only time will tell. But tell us, how do you feel about this Star Wars news? Would you be happy for George Lucas' return and take the reins again, or would you prefer him to leave the galaxy far, far away, alone? Let us know in place below. So everybody, let us know in the comments below, in your comments, what you think about that. And we'll expand. So I'm going to say this. If they bring him back, it's not his brand anymore. He has to write their story. As much as he will give him the guide, the ideas, it's not going to be his, because they got to keep continuity with what Disney Lucasfilm wants to do.
Well, Bob Iger made it very clear in his book that this is their IP now, right?
Exactly.
They bought it. This is their thing. And I had understood it that George Lucas would only come back if he had full creative control. So I don't see this as happening. I really don't see this as happening. But let's assume for the purposes of the discussion, I think it would be ideal to put Kevin Feige there with George Lucas. Yeah, hell yeah. That would be amazing. I feel like you've got the best of both worlds in that situation, because Kevin Feige's a planner, right? He's a planner. He knows how to map this stuff out. If not like a hardcore, like perfect, like straight up blueprint, he certainly knows how to do a solid outline and then work within the confines of what's come before, right? And so I think that would be a match made in heaven. I don't see it happening because Bob Iger's already drawn the line in the sand. But then again, there's a part of me that knows that George Lucas just can't fucking help himself.
He can't help himself, but he can't stand the new Disney Star Wars either.
He can't stand it. I was going to say, that's his legacy. And he was under the impression that they were going to take care of these characters and treat the characters with respect. And
that's including the EU. Yes.
Yes. And they have not done that one little bit. So if it is true, then I can see him coming back just to try and fix it a little as much as he can, because that is, Disney bought it. It's bought and paid for, but it's George Lucas's legacy. Those were his films that he made. They promised him something. They promised to treat his legacy with respect, and they haven't done that. So if he comes back in any capacity, which full creative control, yeah, I highly doubt that they will give him full creative control. But if he comes back in any capacity, that would be good. You know, it would be twofold. It would kind of like appease the fans who are really upset with what Disney has done with Star Wars, because when Disney bought Star Wars, the fans were like, heck yeah, you know, let's see what they can do. We're going to get more Star Wars. But then we got more Star Wars, and the Star Wars that we got was pretty much crap. So now, you know, Disney's like, well, let's see if we can go back to George Lucas, and maybe that'll appease the fans. It'll bring them back to the IP, get them excited about it again, because we're just not excited about it anymore. But I don't see it happening. The only way I see it happening, him coming back, would be, you know, to fix what Disney, you know, pretty much.
Well, they're not going to decanonize this stuff. Look, it's a pipe dream to think that they will ever decanonize this. This is their baby, and Disney doesn't know how to apologize, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. They know how to spin. They know how to spin so that they don't look bad.
Oh yeah,
and they can place the blame somewhere else.
The closest we got to even acknowledgement of anything that's gone down over the past couple of years here was freaking Bob Iger going, yeah, it didn't do so well. Maybe Star Wars fatigue. We got.
Maybe they're all tired of it.
Yeah, except the Mandalorian went and shot that theory right the hell in the foot.
Yeah, it was that we want exciting story that kept continuity and kept to the lore. That's it. And they're still not seeing it. You can wave it in front of their eyes. You could slap it in the middle of their forehead. They're not going to see that. And that's what they're doing now with George. They want us back. So they're like, maybe let's just, speculate George coming back, bringing the heart back into Star Wars. And the thing is, like I said, he's not going to be happy. He's not going to be comfortable with it because it's not his Star Wars no more.
No.
Mm-mm. We got a $5 super chat from Gray Ghost, who says, in the future, when books/interviews release from people involved in Disney's Star Wars during this era, one thing's for sure, fandom menace will be mentioned. That's right, bitches!
Yes.
That is for damn sure. Look, we're on their lips. They did in fact alter. They completely and utterly overhauled the Rise of Skywalker because of us, right? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, they also included Reylos and that shit. They tried to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it, but they know we're here, and we had a big impact on that film, an absolutely massive impact on it. So, for $2 from Deranged Lunatic, they may not care about the vajayjays. You do.
Vajayjays.
Well, we appreciate you caring about. Ultimately, I think you guys feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, ladies. But as ladies on this panel, we're ultimately here not because of our vajayjays, but because we're Star Wars fans, and we like to have our voices heard just as much as any Star Wars fan likes to have their voice heard. And we're a little bit sick of vajayjays being used as weapons.
That is so true.
Fine, you want to use a vajayjay as a weapon? I got one of those. Sure, I can locate that around here somewhere. There it is. Found it. Sure enough.
I know how to use it.
So none of us ladies think our opinions are any more valid than any of these wonderful males in the chat or any other female any person we may cross our paths with. But we're certainly happy if y'all want to engage in the identity politics, then fine. Deal with me, sucker.
Now, ladies, do you think because Bob Iger betrayed Lucas that this might be like here's your participation medal because I betrayed you, we didn't use your materials that you gave us, we've trashed the EU and now call it Legends, so here you go, here's your participation award?
There would be so much animosity there. I really think that there would be so much animosity between the two.
I don't think this is going to happen personally.
No.
I really don't see it happening. Is it a nice thing to think about? Sure. Yeah. I enjoy thinking about it because I feel like at the end of the day, if they listened to George Lucas in the first place and then put up like the looks, okay, dude, woosah with the cringy dialogue, right? But if they'd taken his story treatments and they'd worked those into something, I think that would have been ideal, right? We didn't get that, and I guess we'll never know for sure. But all I can think is, I think back to the prequels, and I think if there'd just been a little more tweaking, right?
Yeah.
If there'd just been a little more tweaking, those things would have been knock it out of the park. excellent original trilogy level of epicness, right?
Mhm.
He just needed some reworks, just a little rework and a few outside influences to really get that to where it needed to be.
Yeah.
I'm basing it off of something like that. And when all of this started, I said to myself, because I'm a Disney fan, right? Like I grew up on Disney. That's my childhood, right? Like so, and I grew up on Star Wars. These things were the building blocks for the very person you see sitting before you today. So I said to myself, I love this thing and I love this thing. The babies are going to be beautiful. I said to myself,
That's definitely what I thought too.
it's going to be perfect. And then we wound up, and I guess I just hadn't realized what a soulless corporation they really were.
They sunk in a lot.
That they've turned into, because they used to have some heart.
I have a chat
They
that I
used to
want to
have
read
good
here.
stories.
It's not a super chat, but it's from Soul Assassin. He goes, rumors say that before KK and JJ go to bed, they check underneath for fandom menace. Yeah. So I had to read that one. That's thank you, Soul Assassin.
Dan Skippy. And we got a $2 super chat from Woke Troll. I love Woke Trolls. They're great. Anyway, sorry. My bread and butter. Toxic women. Love them. Well, we love you too, man. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. And then from Rolana1 for $5, Australian $5, says, I think any condition of bringing George back would be the removal of KK. Look, I don't care at this point. I don't care even if we don't get George back. Just get KK the out of there, please.
Yeah.
Please get this woman out of there. Please get her out of there. It's gone too far. It's gone too far. How the hell did we wind up with Kenobi? And I'm fucking scared. There's like fucking back in August and here we are, fucking 5 months later. No one knows what the fuck's going on. It's all good. Fine. It's all fine. I'm fine. Anyway, we were saying, I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about. Oh yeah, that's right. Talking about freaking George Lucas coming back. And KK's a twat waffle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see this happening, but it's a nice pipe dream.
It is.
It's a nice pipe dream. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and scoot on over to our next topic for the evening. So Miss Steph, my nerdy home, is gonna be breaking this down for us initially, guys. So make sure you give her your rapt attention. Tom, you got screens to share.
Yes. Oh,
Come here, my pretty.
Is it working?
Yep. Is it worth
Oh.
it? Let me
Is it working?
Work it.
get a glass of water.
All right. So we're gonna talk about John Boyega. He's my guy. He's my guy, y'all. I love John Boyega right now. I'm all about him. I'm his biggest fan right now. Okay.
Girl, you better get in line.
Right now, John Boyega, I mean, he's a Star Wars fan, right? And right now he is just putting everything out there. So this this article comes from comicbook.com. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalkers. John Boyega shares behind-the-scenes video featuring Chewbacca. Oh,
I love it so
hold
much.
on a second. Let me pause that. Okay.
I pulled up, yeah.
So Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalkers hit theaters over a month ago, but some of the film's cast is still gracing us with behind-the-scenes videos on social media. John Boyega, who plays Finn in the sequel trilogy, has posted tons of fun Star Wars content on Instagram, from Boyega Wars to a letter of love to Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, who plays Poe Dameron. Boyega's most recent Star Wars post was a behind-the-scenes video featuring Chewbacca, who is now played by
Junice Saitama.
Okay, thank you. I can't.
That was my best guess.
There you go.
Despite not being allowed to film on set, Boyega broke the rules, and the results are beyond charming.
Sorry, we got a $2 super chat. Hold on. This is an inside joke. We got a $2 super chat from Trace XL. He says, bottom line, KK better go down.
I got that. Brilliant. Love ya.
You're amazing, Trace. I see you. You're awesome. So, all right, we got this.
Amazing Trace, how sweet the sound.
Tell him, get your shit.
So it goes on. So Boyega posted earlier this week and he wrote, Throwback Thursday with Jonas. Say it again.
Jonas.
Every Thursday, I'll post a throwback vid of some random nonsense. First up, myself and the hairy guy breaking the rules. I love that he's just breaking the rules on the.
So fucking rebel, y'all.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love that he's doing that. You know, why not? Why not catalog it? I mean, come on. They say we're not supposed to film on sets, but you know what I say. I don't care. Boyega exclaims in the video. So, oh shoot, you know what? Let me make sure I shared my audio.
Oh snap. Okay, we're gonna have to do a rescreen share here, Tom, because we got to share the audio because this is really precious.
Come on, Mr. Peanut.
This is so precious. So,
actually, Mary, would you be able to pull it up? Because I can't share my audio right now. It won't let me.
I can. Give me just a second here to go.
Sorry about that.
Real quick. That's not a problem. So, actually, I threw a vid up for this on my channel earlier today, and so I'm making small talk while I try to find this damn thing.
Yeah.
So
as far as like John Boyega sharing this, I absolutely love it. You know, he's a gem. He's a Star Wars fan. You know, he's going to catalog his journey making the films. Cast of the Avengers did it as well, even though they tried to get them to not film behind the scenes while they were filming the movie for risks of it plot points or whatever leaking. John Boyega just doesn't care. He's such a gem. He's my spirit animal. I love that he's doing this, and I really think he's doing this just because there's some good memories filming the film. The actual film and what we got was a different story, but I'm pretty sure that he did it just because he absolutely loved his co-stars and filming, and it was just a dream come true for him being a Star Wars fan. But what came of it was, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and then the thing is like looking in the future and seeing maybe a biography from him, the good and the bad and the ugly of Star Wars. I would love to get that from him behind the scenes of the.
Oh my goodness, definitely.
I would get that.
Definitely.
All right, we got it right here, guys.
All right.
So when you're watching this, keep in mind, you have to keep this in mind because otherwise it kind of takes away from the actual experience. I really hope I hit share audio on that. Just to double check, I'm going to do this one more time. You have to keep in mind that you are not supposed to film on these sets, guys. Like they absolutely, remember when it was this huge debacle because he lost his fracking script underneath the bed? Remember that? Everybody
lost it.
He lost his script.
Yeah, he lost his script underneath of his bed in the freaking Airbnb or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
So he loses his script. Everyone loses their mind. This was under deep secrecy, right? Well, except we got all the leaks.
We got all the leaks. That's some secrecy right there.
John Boyega confirmed he's the one that leaked the script.
I did it. I don't care.
Fuck, not one fuck to give.
Exactly, and there goes the monetization.
All right, so this is. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit here. Doop, baby Yoda, doop, baby Yoda, doop. I think that's just about the whole thing. Let me make sure I got this nice and lined up. All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Let's do this.
They say we're not supposed to film on these sets. You know what I said? I don't care. Going on a road trip. Where are we going, Chew? Rebellion, rebel.
You go. Boy.
He is so precious.
Yes.
He is so precious. You can see the love that he has, for just being a part of Star Wars. And I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you see his reaction video on YouTube when The Force Awakens came out and someone filmed him and his family watching the trailer? And he just shot up and he was so excited. Did you guys see that?
No.
No? Oh,
no.
Man. He was so excited. He was thrilled. And I mean, it was just, Mary, we can't hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit. I was going to say, can we just take a second to appreciate the fact that freaking John Boyega has never done some cringe shit like, I'm a Jedi from Jakku. Like,
Oh my God.
what we get from John Boyega,
No.
right? Like, do I think the guy, I don't know if he can freaking rap or not. Here's what I do know. If you can't rap, don't fucking do it, right?
He's probably do a hell of a lot better job than he did.
I'm just saying, this guy legitimately, he's having fun on set.
Yes, he's always having fun. And he never apologizes for having fun, which is what I absolutely love about him. He will not apologize for it. I think you're muted again, Mary.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you keep on skipping out on your sound.
That's weird. This thing's weird right now. I did something stupid to it. I'm sure of it. So I do want to
try. Oh,
no. Go ahead, babe.
I was going to say the tragedy of that, of John Boyega being so likable. The tragedy is that his character was just completely mishandled. Everybody was excited to see Finn. Everybody loved Finn. Everybody was looking forward to some backstory with Finn, for something with Finn. And then what do we get? We get him yelling. Just
Ray!
Every single movie.
Every single movie. I was expecting him to be a Jedi. I'm sure he was probably expecting to be a Jedi as well. But because why else would he have picked up a lightsaber twice?
Well,
twice. I was expecting him to be a Jedi, and at the very least, be a Jedi alongside Rey. Rey can be a Jedi as well, and let's have Finn be a Jedi too. But that didn't happen, and it's sad.
Imagine, okay, so let's take a step back here and imagine being in his shoes, okay, for 2 seconds. You start off your character arc. You hear the voices of millions of people cry out and then suddenly silenced. This happened to Finn in The Force Awakens.
It did.
Imagine being the stormtrooper turned good. Imagine starting off with that arc and then getting completely butt-fucked for the rest of the entire trilogy. Imagine being that guy. I'd probably film on set too.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
I would probably be like, your rules, guys. I'll do what the hell I want. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Replace me?
We're already filming.
Right?
Imagine that, though.
Movie. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Give me your phone. Make me. I would just take off running down the street going, sucker! I do shit.
Yeah. He was just so wasted. He really was. And he's come out saying that, he doesn't like the way it went either. So
well, and imagine taking all the heat that he's taken from the insane Reylos, and I'll bring up the Reylos guys. Okay, so whatever, hashtag not all Reylos, whatever, fucking fine. Okay, fine. But for the psychos that have been attacking him, calling him a misogynist, calling him all of these foul names, first of all, welcome to the club. So glad you joined us, right? But imagine the actual death threats and the actual assaults on assaults on character. Now, you guys know, we know, because we've been putting up with that crap for years, right? But he's just trying to make the movie. Like, we're trying to make the movies better. We're trying to send a message, but he's just doing his damn job, right? He just went up to go to work, tried to have a little damn enthusiasm, and he keeps getting assaulted, right? Like, obviously not physically, we're not comparing the two, but verbally assaulted, demeaned, and attacked online on an all the time, constant and regular basis. And to still have the demeanor to be like, y'all can't touch me. The guy is absolutely astounding. I'm 110% on board with him. I think he's a human being and a good actor to boot.
He is a very good actor.
Yeah.
He is a very good actor.
I look forward to it. I hope he took more videos. Like, I really do.
I
imagine he did.
Yeah, he totally did. Heck yeah.
I can't wait to have all the releases from them.
And he had another video too of him like eating on set with Daisy Ridley. Did you see that one?
Oh, the pizza?
I don't know what he was saying. I don't know what he was eating. But
She's like, I was watching him, but I wasn't watching the food.
I know. I was just watching. I didn't see what he was eating.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was one film that they were clearly on set on break or something. Yeah, he totally has more.
It's pretty cute.
Don't doubt it.
Pretty cute guy. I think it's his demeanor probably more than anything else that makes me just want to go hug the shit out of him. Such a fucking cutie. Like I just want to go wrap him up and be like, come here, boo. And I hope he does have more videos from on set, because honestly, I'm enjoying John Boyega far more than the sequel trilogy.
Oh, definitely.
So,
yeah.
He's been an absolute blast and a gem. Do we have any super chats to read before we move on to our final topic, Tom? Anything?
Let me double check, but I don't think you do.
I think a $2 one. I could be wrong.
Maybe.
I might have missed that. Lucasfilm, give us that phone, John Boyega. Force pull it from me, punks.
Last one's the Tyrone one.
Pull it from me.
No, I think we're good. Can't
touch this. Doom. John Boyega just moonwalking out of the studio like, what?
That would be badass. I would love that.
I want a video of that. He really doesn't give a shit. He does not give a shit.
He does not.
The whole time, nothing. He
Yeah.
pissed him off and he's done.
Have you seen the interview where he interviews himself? I have not seen that, Angry Vader. I'm going to look that up after the show. The guy's an absolute gem. He's a constant source of fun. And I got to give him this before we move on to the next topic. He remembered to say rebellion, not resistance.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Not
rebellion.
We're not talking about resistance. We're talking about a rebellion. All right? We're not talking about a resistance. We're talking about a rebellion. I'm just ripping off Jeremy at this point, guys. Not a movie.
Why did they think that anyways? Is from rebellion to resistant back to rebellion. I mean, they should just kept it consistent. That's just my little thing about that.
They don't care about consistency.
Yeah.
Come on. We know that already.
Exactly.
Really?
Dick's Picks
right now.
Dick's Picks is in the chat. He goes, John Boyega is the honey badger of Star Wars. Because honey badger don't give a fuck.
No.
I love it so much. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to our final tidbit this evening, guys. Our final topic of discussion. Okay. So.
Well, first of all, they did have a fun part on Saturday Night Live. You guys did want to talk about that too a little bit.
What the fun part?
Red bit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to start with. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share that screen right now. Just give me 2 seconds. So, sarcasm is about to ensue, guys. You guys like Saturday Night Live, right? You like Saturday Night Live? You like Saturday Night Live? That's not too woke for you, is it? Not woke? No? You guys tune in every weekend to see some legit comedy? Not too woke for you? Yeah. Okay, well, personally, and look, this is subjective. I recognize that this is subjective because humor is subjective. And I am sharing it in the bottom there, Tom, if you want to bring it up. I recognize that humor is subjective. And so not everybody is going to be on the same page as me here. That's fine. You guys are perfectly fine. I get it that you may not agree with me. And some people may not see this as woke. But I personally, it took me out of the sketch. So if you guys will recall, back several years ago, around the Force Awakens timeframe, Adam Driver did a sketch over on Comedy Central, which was really funny. He went as an undercover boss, goes in, starts hanging out with all of his work coworkers or whatever, see what they really think about Kylo Ren. And they're like, yeah, he's a murderous kind of guy. Murder, blah, blah, blah. Goes, okay, well, they did a sequel to that this past weekend on Saturday Night Live, where he goes in as an intern named Randy. So I'm going to skip over quite a bit of this here. We're going to kind of scuttle over it. Because a lot of it is just sort of your basic run-of-the-mill interaction. He goes and gets coffee and forgets the cream and a straw. He calls people boomer.
The way he calls people boomer, too.
I mean, like, I get it, but it was just sort of a little over the top for me. I wasn't particularly amused myself. Some guy gets pissed at him about the straw. He's like, what are we supposed to do? Drink it through the little hole in the top? And he gets pissed off and he puts it in the back of the head. Are you okay? And then he kills a printer. I guess it's like the 5th or 6th printer he kills. So then it gets to the part. Now, I never lulled at this sketch up to this point, right? I hadn't lulled at the sketch. And if I was gonna lull, this certainly killed it. So it gets into this point where they sort of discover who he is, right? All of his other interns sensing who he really was. He was invited to a party with the rest of the interns, where one, played by Chloe Fineman, used the opportunity to try to get promoted. I applied to be a fighter pilot, but the director was like, the only way for a woman to fly cockpit is a direct order from Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And it worked. Drivers Kylo Ren gave an interview saying, the culture here needs to change. Everybody deserves a shot. If I can be a small part of that change, I will. Now, at this point, you lost me. If there was a lull that I could have had, you lost me. And here's why. Here's why I don't particularly enjoy this sketch. And you don't have to call it woke if you don't want to, but for me, it was woke enough. It assumed, this sketch assumed, that I would identify with the notion, because comedy is rooted in truth, right? A lot of times, for in many situations, comedy is grounded in something recognizable, right?
Mhm.
Well, as a female, I have never been excluded from a job based solely on my vagina. That's never happened to me, ever. And in fact, the military, if you want to try to bring up something comparable here, the military that we actually know here, at least within the United States, it goes so far as to accommodate women that they actually drop the standards, right? They don't have the same standards for men and women. They actually have a lower PT standard and a lower standard in terms of what you're meant to achieve in physical ability than the males, in order to make it possible for women to gain these roles. So they're not only accommodating, they're not only available. These positions aren't just available to women, they are incredibly accommodating to women in order to receive these kind of roles in the real world, right? And in terms of the First Order, there are women in positions of power all the time. There are TIE fighter women all over the Disney era canon. And then, of course, there are women in positions of power like Captain Phasma, right? So this doesn't line up with any experience that I personally have ever had, nor have I ever had a conversation with a woman that has directly relayed something similar to this to me, right? And I'm not saying that it's never happened in the history of any woman living's life. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it doesn't ring true with me. And it was woke enough that I went, ugh. Okay, not funny. That's where I sat with it. I wasn't amused. I was not amused. You know what I was amused by? I did laugh at this next part. Hold on. I did laugh at this next part. So we're going to bring it up here. Here it says, so it worked. He says, if I could be a small part of that change, I will. So when he gives the woman her shot, he says to her basically, maybe one day you'll be good enough to fly like Kylo Ren. And she goes, oh no, I want to fly like Luke Skywalker, not Kylo Ren. And he gets pissed off and he kills her. And he goes, and now you'll die like him too. Okay, boomer? Now I laughed at that. I did actually laugh at that, but probably not for the reasons that other people may or may not have laughed at that. I laughed at that because once, all of a sudden, now it's recognizable to me. All of a sudden, now I understand what it means, what they're talking about, because as a woman online, I have been bombarded since The Force Awakens with talk about how, as a woman, I can't identify with Luke Skywalker. I need a whammon on screen in order for me to be able to sympathize or empathize with the person up there. I can't look up to Luke Skywalker. I can't possibly want to do that because I have a vagina and he has a penis.
Mhm.
And I've been literally verbally assaulted for the last several years over it. So when you kill a woman for wanting to be like Luke Skywalker, suddenly I have an ironic giggle. Oh yeah, I know exactly what that's like.
And you know, before I started my channel and I was just like spectating on all my favorite YouTube channels when it came to Star Wars and seeing this this downfall of Star Wars and defending the EU in the comments and everything, I was told off for liking Luke Skywalker.
Mhm.
Yeah. And and now here I am with my channel, and I still get told, the people still hate it. Oh, but you gotta love Ray. She's made for you. Bullshit.
No,
not at all.
not even remotely. It was the irony of the moment that made me laugh. Not that he killed her. Although I suppose I can see a world in which, it's in keeping with Kylo Ren's character. I suppose I could see a world where I would laugh at that outside of my own personal experience. I could see that. But at the same time, that wasn't why I laughed at this. I laughed at this because I was sitting there going, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? They shared with us the relevancy of Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also shared with us that they don't like Luke Skywalker too.
Mm-hmm. Well, true. I just think, literally sitting there watching it going, that's right. I got called a gender traitor the other day. Right. That's right.
But what happened to gender fluid where you could just be what you want on any particular day?
I changed my gender fluid last week.
Maybe that was just a phase. It was a phase.
We got $4.99 super chat from the Geek Blend. I agree with you, Mary. It felt like woke gender pay gap moment. It didn't work, and ladies are amazing.
Thank you.
And he is awesome. So sorry we didn't get to that a little quicker. We were rambling on. But thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat, Geek Blend. And I appreciate your support on all the channels here, man. You are awesome sauce. I definitely appreciate you. Yeah, it didn't work for me. Did it work for you? Now, as I understand, there are some women that it worked for. Ruthie, that's our Star Wars for Life, she thought it was fine. And that is fine. You're perfectly welcome to like the sketch if you like it. But for me, it worked. How did it work for you, ladies?
I didn't mind the sketch. When that part came on, I had an eye roll moment because I was like, okay, like even the rebels have women that fly. So
like back since the prequels.
Yeah. So what is this? That makes no sense. But then I was like, it's Saturday Night Live. I mean, they're just trying to throw in woke moments into their sketches. So so I didn't mind. I didn't really identify with it, just like you. I was just kind of like, okay, like that's never happened to me. The closest that's ever happened to me was when I went in for a job interview and I was told that I was going to have to lift heavy things at my job. And I was in there in a dress and they're like, you don't come across as a person who can lift heavy things. That was the closest thing that I've ever gotten, to something like that. But I was just like, I can do this job. I only dress like this in interviews. What are you talking about? Right. It's an interview.
You tell me to wear some slacks and everything will be fine.
It's an interview. You're supposed to dress up for interviews. So, but yeah, that's the only time, the only time. That's the closest I've never been told that I can't do anything. They just had reservations about my being able, because I'm short. I'm already short, but that's the only thing that's ever happened. But I don't take a huge issue with it like a lot of people do. I don't get frustrated or mad. I'm just like, sure, yeah, I can do it. It's fine. And I ended up getting a job. You know what I mean? So I don't. Yes, I ended up getting the job. So there.
Literally, I've never walked into an interview and had them go, vagina, burn it with fire. I've never
I know. My favorite part of it, my favorite part of the skit that I just laughed at because I felt like they were making fun of these people was after Kylo Ren destroyed the printer and the guy was complaining and he's like, he aggressed me.
Oh yeah. He aggressed me. I was cracking up right there.
That part. He aggressed me. I felt like they were just making fun of having a jab at those types of people who take everything so seriously. It doesn't matter what you tell them. You aggress me.
They're so fracking easy to meme. We got a $2 European or Euro super chat from Sadakura 7th Legion, and I could not agree with the statement.
Oh yeah,
Star Wars is stunning, not being sexist. Now, if you'd ever checked out my channel, Sadakar, over on my channel, we do a stream called the Babydom Menace, which we just did one of last Wednesday night. We'll be doing that monthly. You will find out real quick. These ladies, this little panel right here, we love compliments, and we don't think they're sexist at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to follow up a compliment with not being sexist.
No, you don't have to do that with us,
You
darling.
don't have to be apologetic about it. We're not
Yes,
going to
don't
get
be
all
apologetic.
toxic on you and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
We're not
Thank you.
gonna succubus open up 6 mouths and like,
Yeah.
your brain out of your head over. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So with me on that, how I took that as for myself, I never had problem with gender, being a woman and being hired. And in fact, I was like, when I went into the background department to work for a gaming commission and do background investigations, I within the 6 months from being hired, I became Employee of the Year and was also offered directorship because I worked my ass off, not because I was a woman.
There you go. That's what matters. The work matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, with that part about that, them pandering her to give her a job because she's a woman and then killing her off. That I was like, are you freaking kidding me? What the hell's that about? So I mean, you go from pandering to women to saying, oh well, you're not gonna, we don't like what you have to say. Bye, you're dead.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. It's just that I think that that was the worst pandering they could have done. I like Adam Driver. He's basically an alpha male within Hollywood, in a sense.
Yeah.
And he stands his ground in a sense, and I have yet to see him, regress.
Mm-hmm.
And so I enjoy some of the commentary. Like I seen the one when he after Force Awakens came out, and that was a pretty good one. But this one right here, it's Hollywood. They're gonna pander to all this SJW bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There's a comment by Grey Ghost in the chat, and I told him that I totally agree. I agree with him. That was like a fleeting thought in my mind when I was watching it. He said when Kylo stabbed the lady for saying she wanted to be Luke, as he says, "Okay, boomer," I read into it a little too much as the sequel trilogy killing the OG trilogy fans' love for Star Wars. Did you kind of get that? Because that was like a fleeting moment with her being like, "No, I love Luke Skywalker," and then
I didn't read into it that far, but I can see what you're saying. I can definitely see.
It was like a fleeting thought. I kind of had that thought too, but I thought that was kind of neat.
I mean, like, I'm willing to embrace the fact that probably ultimately what this wound up being was it's just a reflection of Kylo Ren hating Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
And so it's supposed to take place before his turn back to the light and he becomes Ben Solo. Spoiler alert! The rest of Skywalker. It takes place before that moment, and so he's supposed to be like super like Luke Skywalker. I fucking hate that guy. Yeah. like that's essentially where this lands in the timeline for that. So I can see how this is just Kylo Ren being like, I hate that guy. He's unstable and all that shit. And that's the joke, right? That's the joke. Kylo Ren is unstable as hell. Like, oh, they hate that ship. And so the entire squad just chases the Millennium Falcon and leaves everybody down there alone. Like, that was good planning. Like, get that ship, bro! What are you're stupid. If you have to write a character stupid in order to make your story work, it's stupid. Everybody's gonna notice. So we got a $2 European or Euro super chat from Sadakar, Seventh Legion. Mary, I followed you well before G&G. We chatted. I appreciate the support so much. My DMs have been closed for a little while now. I'm gonna have to look back through some old stuff though. But I appreciate the support so much, and definitely all of the people who come over here and from my channel. You guys are awesome sauce. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. So, all right. Well, we're gonna move on to the next portion of the SNL stuff, which I'm going to try my best to cover this, guys. I've seen the sketch like twice.
Okay.
Called White Male Rage. Okay. So I'm going to try to break this down for you. It's so woke.
I'm going to play it. Fuck it.
Really?
I'm not going to play the video. I'm going to play the audio though. Fuck them.
Audio. Okay. It really needs the audio. So for a visual setup for you guys, it's a guy and a woman, news anchors, sitting next to one another, a white male and a brunette woman who's dressed retarded. Wait, so got that pulled up?
Peanut.
Tom's dead.
Can't you hear it?
No.
No.
No, for fuck's sake. It was working. There.
Oh,
Can you hear it
I'm
now?
sorry, Melissa.
There it is. There it is.
My music. I wrote original songs for all the top movies, like this one. Here's my song for Joker. Hit it, fellas. Joaquin Phoenix, skinny, laughs a lot, but still so scary. Dances on steps, goes stumpy, puts a pillow over crazy mommy. But the thing that this movie is really about is white male rage, white male rage, white male rage. Joker.
I remember that song when it was the theme to Mario 3.
Yeah.
Funnier than the sketch. So yeah, and then he's sitting there having a
There's
conversation.
more.
Yes, there is more, but I'm assuming we're playing this in increments so that we don't get
Just slightly, yeah.
okay. All right. So yeah, it goes on. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse.
Wow, that was great, Melissa. But I got to say, I don't remember that song in Joker, and I watch that movie every day while I work out.
What a weirdo. Well, did you at least like the song?
I mean, I'm no music critic, but it seemed like it was just a description of the movie, and then it took a weird turn into social commentary.
Acknowledging you're doing it doesn't make it funny.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Acknowledging that you just took a left turn into social commentary because that's all you did just there, right? You don't have a legitimate criticism of the Joker except white male rage. So let's just acknowledge it's like Michael Myers or what's the fucking guy who played is it Mike Myers? Yeah, Mike Myers, the guy who did Cat in the Hat.
Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Acknowledging that you made a joke doesn't make the joke funny.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Oh,
make
that fucking movie's cringe.
it's so bad. I can't make a joke.
Well, here's
I'm not good with the
The Irish.
writing. Oh, Irishman. Yeah.
This movie has a lot to offer. Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa. Gangster life gets kinda messy. Robert De Niro and Lil Joe Pesci. It's 3 hours long, they're old and they're young. And it's white male rage, white male rage, white male rage. Irishman.
Get it? Get it?
Yes.
White man bad.
Stereotype. They put the Irishman in there, and they, you know how they say Irish have the quick tempers?
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
like me.
What
Get
the?
it? White
I've
men
been
are bad
threatened to
guys.
call to have security called on me and other things already in stores and restaurants and stuff just because I'd get a little angry or upset about something. It's fucking crazy.
But the entire joke is white man bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's the entire
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. There's like an epidemic. It's becoming like worse than a stereotype. But anyway, this keeps going on. There's more to this because the YouTube version cuts off there. There's a whole nother chorus to this,
That
or
was
whatever
great,
you call
Melissa,
it.
but
verse
that
to
one
this.
definitely was not in The Irishman. And I should know, I watched that movie alone on Christmas Day.
You got to make an incel joke there, right?
Of course, none of these songs are in the movies, Colin. Hey, here's another one.
How many more do you have?
A whole bunch.
Okay.
But I'll just combine them all. Okay? Hit it, boys. Manson, Hitler, white male rage. World War I, cause of white male rage. Little Women, big performances, but Greta Gerwig some cause of white male rage. Buzz and Woody at it again, it's white male rage, white male rage, white male rage.
So yeah, she goes on to blame white people for the little
Greta
For Little
Gerwig got
Women,
snubbed.
nobody wants to see that fucking movie.
Guys, Greta Gerwig was snubbed because white male rage. Okay.
that equates how. And let's just, and this is the last thing to say, and then I'm gonna bop in the back for you guys to finish it out here. And of course, this is our last story anyway. So, like, not to burst their big bubble, but white men don't choose who gets nominated or wins the Oscars. It's the fucking people who make and are in the movies. It's the very people that you're making out to be the victims that picked these movies. I can't fathom this fucking.
I can't with this. I can't with this. This is they don't want racism, but they're using racism to justify themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I don't understand is, and I get what you're saying, but I don't understand what's the joke. Just that white men are a joke? Is that supposed to be funny? By virtue of the mere fact that white men exist, these movies are all of a sudden no longer worthwhile, right? Because they happen to feature white males. And so let's call it white male rage. Never mind that the Joker made more money than the Rise of Skywalker. Never mind that. That doesn't matter. Never mind that it resonated with many people. Never mind that a lot of people looked at that and were like, yeah, the social commentary in this is done well, right? It's ambiguous and it leaves you thinking and questioning, right? This is done well, right? Because I don't mind social commentary actually in my films so much, so long as it doesn't beat me over the head with what it is that I'm supposed to think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that crosses the line saying that you're stupid if they have to keep on beating you in the head.
But because it was a movie that featured males who happened to be white, and something dramatic happens, white male rage, white man bad. That's the joke, guys. And you should laugh because white men are stupid and they're nothing more than the butt of a joke. It's not funny. I'm not amused. So we got a $2 super chat from Matchy. He says, those songs were supposed to be in Kenobi. Well, they're not now. Or maybe that'll be the only
Yeah,
thing.
but in Kenobi, the actual lyric was white sand rage.
Oh my God.
I hate
So now we're going into basically male toxicity and applying a race to it as well, and feeding into this narrative of making a woman feel more significant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, for one, not to like be the dick, but white women are the most protected group on the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you guys remember back a big racial stereotype was black male rage?
Now yeah.
Now they've just transferred it. Because I had this conversation with a black friend of mine. I said, you know what? I mean, not that I didn't understand before, but I totally have another perspective on the whole black rage thing. I've been in situations where I've been threatened to have security called on me, kicked out, and cops called on me just because I would raise my voice a little bit. And it's like, holy shit. It's like, what the fuck happened? I've never been treated like that before. It's like, what the hell?
It's just hilarious to me, the hypocrisy on display here, right? The absolute hypocrisy that they sit there and they browbeat you over the head all of the time with what it is that you're supposed to think, what you're supposed to think this, or you're not allowed to think this, right? Like you can't think ill of women, right? Because you can never think that a woman, you must believe women, right? But then they'll beat you over the head at the same time with white male rage, white man bad, right? Like it's okay to think this, but it's not okay to think that. As long as you're believing what we tell you to believe, it's okay. And that somehow validates, because they think it's a thing, because they're stuck in their little bubble, that must mean that this is funny, right? They think that we identify with this as people, but you're so out of touch with your audience. I'm sorry, but most people aren't going to watch this sketch and go, oh yeah, that's right, because all white men are pieces of shit, right? All white men are pieces of shit. So I really, again, this goes back to something that I can identify with. So comedy that's rooted in, or humor that's rooted in reality, right? Something that you have some measure of experience with. Well, here's the truth of the matter. I've met a few assholes in my life, but they've run the gambit between male and female.
Exactly.
They've been one of those two things. And the truth of the matter is that more often than not, if I run into an asshole, no offense, ladies, but usually it's women are way bigger bitches.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So
rage knows no gender.
Exactly.
Yeah. You ever met that chick that burnt your shit in the yard at 3:00 in the morning? I know her.
Your car.
You like that car? It says full meter in the car in the paint now. Have fun driving that around, sucker.
Nova Zero sends us an Australian $5. White males also don't get to choose who starts wars by blowing up their people. Princesses or stuff or all of the above. Okay.
Well, I mean, look, that comes down to who's in power of whatever particular place talking about at any given time. But exactly, it doesn't boil down to any one particular gender or race or anything like that. There's no difference between in terms of your sort of average run-of-the-mill person between a guy and a chick on the street, right? It's just a rando on the street. They didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. It's just a person. It's just a person, guys.
Yeah.
It's just a person. There's nothing wrong with them. And it's getting
poor white men in Star Wars all got killed because of white, because you know
white male race. Kylo Ren died because of white male race. Totally.
Right, and that's pretty much his whole joke in those skits too. But seriously, I mean, I'm not trying to white male rage out on this thing. I just find it very ironic, and the stereotype is forming now, and it's like, why is it okay to just destroy? And that's kind of a lot of what built up this kind of show, is the fact that you guys do exist in the fandom, and that the men are just constantly attacked and seen as the only members of the fandom when that's not the case. You know, there's plenty of other people around that are not white or male, so, or even straight for that matter. And you know, this whole thing that we're made up of a bunch of alt-right trolls and shit. It's like, I challenge you to find anybody, especially within the actual ranks of the channels, that are out there attacking anybody personally, especially as far as, like, you know, on any level, as far as their feelings about a movie or a TV show. It's ridiculous.
I want to address this one in the chat. Dan Ramos says, Barry Mayhem, I'm reliably informed that women never fight and would bring about world peace. I got some news for you, sweetheart. Once every 28 days, we'll blow the world up over chocolate.
Exactly. Talk to me.
Bring me a Snickers or Iran gets it. It's just...
Oh, and then like how our women's stubbornness and cattiness with each other. We would be in war forever.
Yeah, the Cold War is not over, guys. If you have two chicks like going at it in Russia and America or whatever, like, we're literally just scratching each other's eyes out and like, fuck it, I'm pushing this button, I've had enough to hear.
And we could be friendly with each other and still be doing blows at each other at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
We wouldn't know what's going on.
Would be as if it was over a guy, because then we'd be like World War III.
Oh Lord.
Like, if two countries wanted the same guy, we'd all be fucked.
This is bullying. This is really saying that only bully because it's so fun when people get angry. When they get hit back, they become cry bullies. Yeah, they're cry bullies. Yeah, they're absolutely cry bullies. They sit there and they point out, Greta Gerwig she got snubbed because of white whale rage. My vagina. Bitch, please. Did you make a Joker? No? Sit down.
People didn't go see Little Women because of white male rage.
No, I didn't go see
No, it couldn't be that we don't have 250 fucking versions of it already.
I
didn't care about Little Women. I didn't go see it.
If all nations were ran by women, they would eventually sing up.
That's what I was kind of getting towards. Yeah, it's like, we'd be fucked.
Look, I'm not saying we wouldn't be able to stave it off for a while, but eventually you're going to hit that one really bad month, all right? Where everybody's had it up to here with everything, and they just say fuck it and hit the button. And that's all there is to it. $5 from Matt G. He says, these people who say women are never toxic never saw what happens when two females wear the same dress to a prom. All right, hold on. Assuming you don't let 17-year-olds run the world. I have done that. Worn essentially the same outfit out to a bar as another girl who I actually was not particularly fond of. I think I was 20. I was in my early, like mid 20s at the time. It was annoying, but I wouldn't nuke Russia over it. If it had been that kind of the time of the month, and I had not had a Snickers, maybe I might think about it. Trace XL for $5 says, men are Jedi. We will fight until the battle is won. Women are Sith. Cross them and they will destroy you. This is what we see on your good side.
He's not wrong.
No,
because like when men fight, I've had several like women ask me like, "How can you still talk to him? You guys just got in a fight." It's like, yeah, but we hashed it out. It's no big deal.
Well, look, women
It's
are
like a fist fight. Because then the best part is if you have a fist fight, then you go, oh no, it's really done now. I kicked his ass, so he has to be subservient to me.
Well, look, I'm not saying that there aren't sane,
Alpha
perfectly
males.
capable, rational women out there running the world. But here's the trick about women: you won't know till it's too late.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They'll do it quietly in your sleep.
Yeah, you won't know you got a crazy chick until your clothes are on fire in the yard. You just won't know, right? Like
The
you
only
will
thing
come
in
home,
your life is the shower.
right? She'll burn the house down around you while you're in the shower. You won't know. That'll be the moment that you was, oh yeah, she's fucking nuts. That's the moment. Let's see, Matt Ween, $5. President Mary, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 2.5.
Don't make me start flicking the light on and off.
Give me my fucking Snickers.
Mhm.
Gray Ghost for $5 says, when people making these arguments don't acknowledge women who were fans pre-Disney, they're saying your support of Star Wars before the acquisition didn't count. Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
We didn't exist before
Yeah.
Cray KK got here. We didn't exist before Ray, the Mary Sue, got here.
Mhm.
We didn't matter before that point. We weren't here. And they still don't like acknowledging that we exist. They still don't
Which
like
one of
it.
you ladies did the statistics when the movie first dropped? I think it wasn't you said that there was only 20%
Candace.
female audience.
Do
I think Rise of Skywalker only had like 20% female audience or something like
Yeah.
that.
I think that was
That's fucking horrendous. That's fucking horrendous for any movie.
but
Mhm.
they're trying to pull in the woman view, right? That's what
Yeah.
they're
My
trying
point
to pull
is
in.
they probably lost women because I'm willing to bet prior to this the split was somewhere around 36 or 30-70, maybe 46.
They lost paying women. They lost
Mhm.
Yeah.
women who would support this. Now, did they probably gain loud-mouthed twat waffles? Sure, absolutely. You're running their narrative, right?
Yeah.
Not really, because those women don't go see movies. The Twitterati do not go see movies.
Oh, we got a 420 super chat. Pale 420 from Sith Lord. Hi, JJ. He says, for all the lovely ladies
Hi,
and Tom.
And Tom.
I'm Tom.
Oh,
But that was something I got into about this whole Birds of Prey, and I guess some of the reviews are dropping, and I don't even care right now because I know this movie's gonna flop. We all know this movie's gonna fucking flop. But there's all these people out there that are banging this drum for it. It's like you and your 2 friends are gonna go see the movie. That's it. This movie shows no interest to anybody.
well,
And
and
how-
never mind the countless women who used to, and I'm sure Laura will vouch for this, like back in the day, used to go get in line and wait for the premiere and cosplay and shit and be ready for that. Like you go out with your friends or your family and you make an event of it and you go 4, 5, 6 times to the theater because you love this stuff and you're hardcore fans, right? I didn't pay for Rise of Skywalker once. If this had been well, because I did go to see The Force Awakens multiple times in theaters. If this had gone well, if this had ended well, I would have done with it what I did with the prequels. I would have gone 4, 5, 6 times to the theater. You would have gotten my ticket money at least 2 or 3 times, even if it had just been mediocre. You would have gotten that, as opposed to me getting to the point where I saw The Last Jedi in theaters 1 time and I paid for The Rise of Skywalker 0 times. You lost.
You see, when you said that they lost their women payers from this diversity bullshit that they're doing, I'm one of them. I stopped after The Force Awakens. I'm like, no more Star Wars.
Yeah, I stopped after The Last Jedi. Yeah.
We're done. We're done. You lost us.
Yeah.
Oh, but we weren't here
We
before.
weren't really
Guess
there.
what? Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, all got my money at least
Mm-hmm.
times. At least. The least amount of times I went for any of those movies was 3 times. All of them
Or for me.
got my
I was going to say 4 for me.
Or for me. I was like, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. The last one, I don't even know. I don't remember how many times I went and saw that one.
Yeah. Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I went about 6 times for that one because that's my favorite out of the whole trilogy for that one. But now this new Disney one, only 1 time, and that was The Force Awakens, and I was done.
Well, I pre-bought tickets, so I went and saw The Force Awakens 3 times. But yeah.
But you're bringing in women to this franchise, right? You're giving us something to identify with on the screen. Turns out, not so much. Not so much, because you've lost well, there's a whole fandom menace full of a whole hell of a lot of women. So many women that I couldn't even remember who all to tag the other day, and had some of those catty women getting pissed at me like, oh, guess I'm not around anymore. And I was like, sorry, there's so many of you. I can't keep up with you all. You've got so many women in the fandom menace that we can't keep track, right? Those catty bitches be getting pissed off because I forgot to tag your ass. I'm fucking sorry, okay? I'm sorry. But there are so many women that you lost, that you turned off. You lost so much money. Oh, but there's someone on screen I can identify with. Bring back Luke Skywalker. I identify.
Hell
with.
yeah.
That's
Hell yeah. Bring back Leia as we knew her.
Yeah. I liked Leia. Leia. I really did. That was a strong, empowered female woman. Now that right there, so you take your chains and you murder your captor with them.
Exactly.
That's
a strong, powerful woman.
In a gold medal bikini to boot. That's empowered, bitch.
Yep.
That's sexy empowerment.
Jesus Lord. Anyway, that was a side tangent rant. Anyway, all of that just to say white male rage.
Oh,
it's not even funny.
So,
it's not even funny.
No, it's not. I didn't laugh at all. Not even a little bit. I just sit there going,
yeah, just are you kidding?
Congratulations.
It was very, very cringy.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's just about going to wrap us up here, Tom, unless you have anything else for us. Tom
Not
said,
that I can think of.
We hit the button.
No, I was muting because everybody was saying that we were echoing. So
yeah, I heard that too.
A little bit, yeah.
So it's probably my voice. I mean, it doesn't like StreamYards. So yeah, I want to thank everybody out there for joining us tonight. I want to thank the ladies on the stream tonight. Hopefully, Candy's having a great vacation, and we will have her back, if not next week, the week after, I believe. So let's go around real quick and let everybody know where they can find you. Let's start with Steph, right below me here.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube, all at the same username, My Nerdy Home. And you can also find me on the Drunk 3PO channel. I do produce some content on there as well. So yeah, come say hi.
Awesome. OG
right.
Star Wars Legends gal. Tell the folks where they can find you.
Why, hello everyone. I am OG Star Wars, your Legends girl, trying to make it in this discanon world. And you can find me on YouTube at OG Star Wars and on Twitter at Laura Baga, OG Star Wars. Come for EU content. Come for basically, I am your new hope when it comes to Star Wars, for Legends content, for lore, for books, a little bit of news, a little bit of rant. Let's hang out. Let's have fun. Coffee chat every Thursday mornings, 9:30 or 9 a.m. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us. This was a great chat. I look forward to this every Monday. There.
All right. And last but not least, the Mistress of Mayhem, the Mistress of Ceremonies.
Well, hi,
Mary,
guys.
be yourself.
Before I plug myself on air in front of everybody, do make sure to go subscribe to these two lovely ladies. They are wonderful and they produce fantastic content. As far as me, hi guys, I am Mary B. I am the Mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official women card holder. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where I talk about newsy news stuff during the week, and on the weekends I have a little fun. You can also find me over on Geeks and Gamers, where I'm a part of the team over there. Hopefully you guys will come check me out, and I will see you over there.
All right. Until next week, take care, everybody, and thanks for watching Toxic Femininity here on Midnight's Edge.
Bye-bye.